Hey, what's up, everybody? Happy Friday. Welcome once again to the Weekend Wrap-Up. I'm your host, Duke Nork. Hope everyone had a good week. Hope everyone stayed cool and hydrated in the little heat wave that we had, depending on where you are, obviously. If you're in a different hemisphere, it's not even summer right now, so... But thanks again for joining me. Sorry, my age is... It is that time of year. So, not a lot to talk about today, but some things. So, a couple of things. I poured the shells for my cognitive hazard insert dice, and they came out fine. The biggest issue, as you can see, they're off center. Look at that huge gap on this side, nothing on this side. Huge gap. That looks fine. That looks okay. That doesn't. So they're all like that, and I know the reason why. And I basically knew this was going to happen. I had to do it just for my own, just to know, you know. Look at that. Look at that huge gap. I had to do it just to know, because I don't take things on faith. Trust, but verify. So. Basically, it happened because the inserts are too small. If I had smaller numbered shells that were just slightly larger, so basically what we're dealing with millimeters here. This is the scale we're talking about. So this, where's my D20? This D20, I believe, is 15 millimeter, 20 millimeter. It's 20 millimeter. 20 millimeter D20. And the number wells, the number indentations on this set, because I didn't make this set myself, this set is, I believe, 1 millimeter. So that means the space past the number well on the interior of the die is 19 millimeters. You probably, because you do want a little bit of a gap, but not much. I'm thinking, if you've got... delicious. So if you've got a 20 millimeter shell, a millimeter gap for the number, and then probably another millimeter, I guess, that leaves you with, see if you do math, 20 minus 1 minus 2 minus 1. 20 minus 2 is 18. So that's basically as small as you want your inserts to be. No smaller than 18 millimeters from side to side. This is not 18 millimeters. That's what I'm talking about. So you want it to be slightly smaller. Essentially, you want the insert, when you put it in your numbered mold, to kind of sit on the number insert in the bottom. And then you want to... These look so cool, though. And I really like the way I really like the color shift, and you can't see it on... Well, you can kind of see it on camera. I really like the color shift when they're in the shell. So I'm definitely going to do this again. But the difference I'm going to... And I measured these dice, too. So I actually have the 3D files for these. So one of the cool things about working with JDOT... Throw the link. One of the cool things about working with JDOT is when they make you custom dice, they give you the 3D files. So I know exactly how big these are, how deep the number well is. I believe these are 2 millimeters. A lot of paint in there. It's a nice crisp color. So I actually have those original files. I could theoretically just fill in the wells, scale them down So let's say if that D20 is, I believe that D20 is also 20 millimeters, might be slightly larger. It's the exact same size. Looks pretty close. Either way, I know exactly how big those shells are, so I can actually mess around with the files themselves. If the shell, let's say, is 20 millimeters, the well is 2. Take off 3, so I scale it down to 17 millimeters with the blank sides. Print those in my resin printer. Clean them real well. I don't know if I talked about this. So, excuse me. So essentially the problem with trying to make silicone molds of UV resin as opposed to epoxy resin masters is the platinum silicone doesn't play well with UV resin if it's slightly uncured at all. So, or there's like residue. So the trick, and I haven't actually proved this, tested this in my shop yet, but the idea is that if you pull your print from the UV resin printer, you clean it really well in, like, you know, a cleaning solution. I use I think I have Mean Green. You can use isopropyl alcohol or really anything, but the Mean Green is safe enough. You can just pour it down the drain when you're done. Can't really do that with IPA. As you clean it really well in your cleaning solution, and then you cure it for, well, you put it in a water bath first. That's trick number 1, because I always clean my prints, but then I cured them dry. So you put it in the water bath, cure it for 30 minutes. That's another trick. I was using like 10 or 15 to basically double the curing time. Pull it out of that water bath, rinse it off, like clean it really good again, put it back in a water bath, and just let it sit for 6 hours. 6 hours. 6 hours is up. Take it out of the water bath, dump the water, clean it really good again, fresh water bath, another 6 hours. So obviously it's a long time from when you get your print to where you can actually use it. But once that time is done, and it's very, very labor non-intensive. Once that 12-hour period is done, you pull your print out, you know, clean it off, rinse it off, dry it, make sure it's completely dry. You should then be able to take that print, put it into platinum silicone. Easy peasy, no problems. So I've done that process. I've actually done that process with this. And I'm delaying simply because I want to do some, see these lines, you can see these lines. I want to do some post-processing on that to smooth that down. So I want to get this to a point where I can pop it in some silicone, make a mold of it. I can't wait for this, y'all. I think it's gonna be super cool. Anyway, I don't know how I'm gonna do this because obviously there's that, and then I don't know. I might have to make a cut mold. In fact, I think I'm gonna have to cut there and just pop it out. Anyway, excuse me. That's gross. Ooh, I know what I could do. Oh, I know exactly what I could do. So I could pour the silicone up to, like, well, no. Anyway, I'll figure it out. I want to figure it out. So that print is already processed, cured, and obviously once I sand it, I'm gonna have to do the process over again. Whatever, it's fine. But I want to test that hypothesis, and then what I can start doing is I can start printing my own dice, whatever I feel like molding. I start printing it, clean it really good, and then go straight to anyway, I go straight to the platinum silicone because tin cure silicone sucks ass. Pardon me. So anyway, That's that. I did those. Oh, I got a new tool. So what this is, this little spinny boy here on the end. So what this is a blade. It's a curved blade. This is a deburring tool. So it's primarily used for, cleaning up, metal burrs and plastic burrs and things like that off of like parts. But you know what else you can use it for? Cleaning up dice. So I tested this on a couple of things. Actually tested this on these. So I had some flashing on these. So I just poured a set of, because I had some clear silicone because I was doing the shells. So there's some flashing on the edges here that it cleaned up actually real nice. Actually, I used them on these. So these are pretty much, excuse me, goodness. Like there's some minor imperfections here, but those imperfections be there no matter what. Like look at the D20 specifically. Like, yeah, you can see, that obviously that's where, like that. That's where the top face was. But like, no, it's still a little rough. But I think what I may be able to do is just kind of take that off with very fine sandpaper, and it won't damage the finish. And then it's good to go. So I don't have to go through that whole process of, from rough down to whatever sandpaper. It's just done. So I think this little bad boy is going to save me quite a bit of time post-processing. So I put this in the numbered shell. So you can see there's a little bit of clear there. Where's the, yeah, there we go. There's the bare face. It's hard to see. That's the only thing I don't like. So I think what I might end up doing, because you can't really, granted I also haven't post-processed this face. So I think I might end up doing, if I do these again with the bear, is I'll actually paint the bear in relief. So it pops out at you, because right now it doesn't. Either that, or I need to have a bigger scale. So like this style chalk just isn't gonna work. Not with detail that fine. I don't know. We'll see. I have the files on those too, so I can scale them up. This video is running along, so I'm gonna cut it off and say we're done here. I've talked about pretty much everything except for the Kickstarter. Kickstarter's still going. We've got like 11 days left. We're less than $500 away from our goal. Less than $500. We're over 80% funded. 4/5 funded, y'all. We're so close. We got a little more than a week left. Just under 2 weeks left. So, if you know anyone, if you haven't backed, if you want to back, if you could share it with people who would want to back, please do. We just need a little push over the edge, over the top. I'll throw the link down there if you haven't backed and you're interested. Give us some of your dollary dues. So that's going good. Runs through the end of the month. Still have early bird available because we haven't met our goal yet. So give that a clickety click clack clack. Until next time. No question. I don't have a question. I don't know. Anyway, until next time, be good to yourselves and each other.